Hi everyone, I'm Shelby Meyer with ST Genetics, and today I'm here with Bodey Langford with the Texas Angus Association at the Genetic Development Center in Navasota, Texas. Bodey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with the Texas Angus Association?
Well, I am a fourth generation cattle rancher. My great grandfather moved to Texas in the 1870s and was involved in several trail drives before he settled down and got ranch land in West Texas, and it's been in our family for years. And I was a commercial cattleman in the 70s and 80s, and in the year 2000 I started buying registered Angus cattle, mostly to provide breeding stock for my commercial herds, but eventually evolved into a 100% Angus seed stock operation. And I'm currently the president-elect of the Texas Angus Association, and we're here at the Genetic Development Center today to receive a set of bulls for our second annual performance-tested Angus bull sale with Genetic Development Center and the Texas Angus Association.
Very good. So it sounds like you've been in the business for quite a while and come from a strong backing. So you run your own operation, Langford Cattle Company.
Yes.
Can you just go into maybe a little bit of more depth and information about your own operation and what you want to see with your own cattle?
Well, like I say, we phased from the commercial cattle business into the registered operation out of necessity of trying. I was in the feedlot and stocker business, fed cattle in the Panhandle for several years, and I was constantly trying to find the perfect animal to feed in the feedlot that developed the perfect carcass for the packers. And back then, the old timers told me that I'd never get paid for building that kind of an animal, but I felt like that eventually we could, and I continued to strive for that goal. And eventually, the Angus cattle came into my life, and they were the cure for an awful lot of other mistakes that I'd made in the cattle business in the previous 20 years. And so in my mind, the beef industry is built around the Angus breed in the United States, and we raise Angus cattle because that's what people want to eat, and it's a rare day that you ever walk into a restaurant or into a grocery store and see any other breed of beef advertised. Everybody wants to talk about Angus beef because of the quality of the eating experience. So that's where we pointed our program, and we've been trying to improve the carcass merit of our animals every year. I think that the Angus breed, any registered breed exists surely for the function of providing commercial bulls for the commercial cattle business. And so we try and build the best bull that will do our commercial customers the most amount of good as far as them putting cattle in the feed yards and harvesting the best carcass that they can harvest and get the most money for their carcasses that they can.
Yes, there's no denying that the Angus breed has definitely made a name for themselves, and here at ST Genetics, we're really excited to be a part of your journey in helping get those feed-efficient bulls. And speaking of bulls, we have about 100 bulls coming into the Genetic Development Center in the next couple days. Can you just kind of maybe tell us about where those bulls are coming from? I know they're all over the state, but maybe a little bit about those ranchers and what they can expect to see.
Well, in order to be involved in this test, you have to be a member of the Texas Angus Association. But we were sitting out there in the pens a while ago looking at the paperwork of all the bulls that we expect to come in, and there are actually 6 bulls that arrived here yesterday, I believe, from the Finger Lakes area of New York State. So that's a pretty long loop that we threw out there, and glad to have those folks. We've got cattle coming from Oklahoma and all over Texas, and we're excited to have them here, and we think that the feed efficiency data is a very important tool for us to measure the efficiency of the animals that we're raising. For years we've been measuring ribeyes and marbling and all the carcass traits and the growth traits, but the thing we have never measured before is what it costs to get them there, and that's where feed efficiency is a very important component of the whole package that we're trying to develop.
Yes, and everyone knows nowadays that things do not come cheap. So with that feed efficiency, it's definitely going to help not only our ranchers, but our consumers in the end as well. What are some of the goals and opportunities that the Texas Angus Association is trying to give their members through the GDC test?
Well, a large percentage of the members of any breed association are new and small breeders. The big breeders make up maybe 25 or 30% of any breed association, and the rest of them are made up of people that have 20, 30, 40 cows. And those people are trying to make a name for themselves in the purebred industry, and they sometimes they're limited by land resources. They've got a good cow herd on their place, but they don't have anything to do, any place to go with their bulls when they wean them. They want to know what how their bulls are going to grow out, but they don't have a place to keep those bulls and to develop those animals. Same thing with heifers. So they're kind of landlocked, and the development center here gives those people an opportunity to retain ownership of their cattle and see the full development of their cattle and gather the data on those cattle that they need to improve their herds. And so that's a golden opportunity for the smaller and mid-sized breeder. Having a place to develop them, a place to gather this data is very important to us, identifying the good doers and eliminating the ones that don't do so well.
Yes, earlier you mentioned that these bulls will have the opportunity to go through the Texas Angus sale
Yes.
at the end of the test. What kind of marketability edge does these bulls offer going through this test?
Well, for one thing, you're taking cattle from all over and you're putting them into a uniform lot on a uniform development program, and then you're marketing them at one location, and that gives the breeder the opportunity to market cattle on a larger scale than they normally would be able to do at home, and that they have this data. And at our sale last year, we had buyers coming in here looking for specific traits, and they were obviously, after we analyzed the results of the sale, we saw that quite a few of the buyers, discriminating buyers, were really looking at these performance traits and the feed conversion and feed efficiency traits. And so those are important traits, and getting more important all the time as our production costs go up all the time.
Yes, here at ST Genetics, we most certainly think that feed efficiency is upon one of the most important traits within beef cattle.
Yeah.
How do you think that feed efficiency going on is going to start to affect the industry as a whole?
I think the more people that gather this information and become aware of the ability to measure these traits, the more acceptability there'll be to this. And I think it's going to have a snowball effect. I know that discriminating cattle feeders have been trying to harvest this information for years, but the only way they can harvest it is by sending truckload lots of cattle to the feed yard and seeing after the kill data and the feeding data is turned in, then they can go back and see possibly which bulls. But that's kind of going backwards. If you can identify the efficient bulls or the efficient cows at an early age, you should be way ahead of the game.
Yes, most certainly. And then you had mentioned as well, this is the second test that the Texas Angus Association has been a part of here at the GDC. What brought you back? What did you like about it that made you want to continue to work with us?
Well, what brought me back is that I was elected as the chairman of the sale, and I've got to come over here and go to work. But I bring my bulls here as well, and I'm very interested in this data. I'm a data-driven person, and the more data that I can collect, and feed efficiency is a big deal to me. And so this is, I don't know any place else I can go get that kind of data.
Yes, sir. Well, we are certainly excited to not only have you back with us here at the Genetic Development Center, but the Texas Angus Association as well. So we just wanted to thank you, and we really look forward to seeing what the test has to bring this year.
We appreciate y'all, everything you're doing for us.
Thank you.